When you face major crises and difficulties in your life, whether it's caused by some rogue virus or caused by crazy politicians in DC, across the globe that are causing all kinds of trouble and difficulties in our life, whether it's own personal choices that you've made that have caused you to fail in business or other areas of your life, it doesn't matter. We all have this common reality of facing major issues and problems in our life. And when that happens, how do you overcome? How do you grow past that? How do you achieve the success that you really want to have in life? Well, today I want to share with you what I call the victory cycle. The victory cycle is a way of looking at life, is a way of looking at reality that helps you to overcome, to achieve, and to do more than you ever thought you could do, regardless of what your goals and your dreams are. My name is Joshua Boswell, and I'm the founder of Copywriter Marketer. I'm the author of the #1 best-selling program that helps writers like you take their dreams and their hopes, their writing skills, and turn those into living, breathing reality. That's what I focus on, is helping you achieve the lifestyle that you really want to have by making money as a writer and doing all the things that you need to do, not just to have clients, but to have a great lifestyle. And this mindset aspect of it, the way you look at the world, is absolutely vital in creating that lifestyle. So I want to walk you through these two different models, and I think that you'll see that sometimes we fall into one model that ensures our failure, and sometimes we fall into the other model. And I want to show you how you can consciously choose between those two. And then I want to share with you 3 key insights that'll help get you started, that'll give you some traction, things you can actually do today to move this forward. Now let's lay the groundwork for this whole thing and talk about a scenario that happened in my life a number of years ago that caused major, massive crisis for me. You see, I'd already decided that I wanted to be a copywriter. I'd already dove into that world. I had been marketing myself for about 6 months, and glory hallelujah, I had picked up what I considered at the time a dream client. I had a retainer contract, $5,000 a month, which at the time was like, wow, that was an amazing amount of money. I was super excited for it. I wrote my first project for this particular client. I submitted it, and they hated it. They hated every word of it. They sent it back to me and said, hey, can you give this a try again? And we went through like 4 or 5 iterations of this, and finally they canceled the retainer agreement, and I lost the contract. And I was devastated. I was $200,000 in debt at the time, 6 children to feed. I really, really, really needed that money in that contract, that project. And then it was gone. I went from the height of hope and excitement and enthusiasm down to the utter depths of despair and frustration. And down in those depths of frustration, that personal crisis, I had some serious decisions to make. Now, pause the story for just a minute. Have you ever been there? If you haven't, I suppose maybe you're not human. I don't know, because most human beings that I talk to have those moments where like they're super excited and then like there's a plot twist and fate deals them a different set of cards, and they find out that all their hopes and dreams, the things that they wanted, are not going to actually be possible in that moment. And so you face that moment of crisis. You face that, whether it's a job loss, whether it's a marriage unraveling, whether that's health that you thought like, I thought I was going to be healthier and more, energetic than this. I don't know what it is. But if you've ever been in that moment where you're feeling despair, you're feeling frustration, then I want you to listen very carefully to the victory cycle, because it'll show you why you're feeling that way and give you resources and idea about how to get out of that cycle, that scenario where you're like, just not feeling that you're on top of your game, you've got a lack of hope, and you've got a lot of despair in your life. So back to my story. What happened is, I puttered around my house and my office and, moaned to my wife. Finally, Margie sat me down. Margie's my wife. Margie sat me down and says, honey, I want you to do a favor for me. I said, okay. She said, I want you to research how many companies there are inside of your niche that you're trying to focus on. In the United States right now, today, how many companies are there that focus in this area and they could potentially hire you as a writer? I said, okay, I guess I can do that. And so I did. I went and I did a bunch of research, and I dove through this and looked through it. And I found out there was like 250,000, over 200,000 potential companies that could hire me. And I looked at that number and I was like, wait a minute, I might be really terrible at this, but there's no way I'm that terrible. In other words, eventually, if I just keep trying, if I just keep working at this, if I just keep writing, if I just keep marketing myself, I might blow through 150,000 potential companies, but eventually I'll get decent enough that somebody's going to hire me. And I realized, it's just a numbers game. It's just a time game. I can win at this. And I gained this amazing confidence that eventually I knew for sure that I could win at this game. And so I dove back in and I found out that I didn't actually have to wait. I didn't have to go through 150 clients to make this reality. Instead, what I did is I marketed myself for the next couple of months, and then I started picking up clients. Corel was the next big company that I picked up, and then Sony and Toshiba and Microsoft and AWAI and Agora and all these other companies followed, and then it's just been hundreds since that time, and I've had the joy of working with some of the biggest companies in the world. Now, why? Because I got the reality of what was going on. Instead of being in my little bubble of despair, I figured out that I could do something more and I could have something more, and that it really was an opportunity, a possibility for me if I just kept going. And I transitioned from this cycle, which I'll explain in a minute, to this cycle using these insights and these thoughts that I'll share with you right now. And that changed my life forever. And I want you to be in this category right here. So what is this category? What does this look like? Let's walk through it and give you some insights. Because look, anytime I'm feeling locked up, despair, frustration, or having that anxiety moment, which I have all the time, like I squirrel and ruminate and rummage through my brain just like every other human being does. I think it's common to everyone, and so I've had other times in my life, but even when I do have those circumstances and situations, I come back to these thoughts, this model right here, this victory cycle, because I want to win in life. Don't you want to win in life? I want to win. I don't want to be crushed by fears. I don't want to be kicked to the curb by, crazy, anxiety and stress points. I don't want to be like, always a victim of the man or the woman or some government agency or some economy or something that's going on out there. I want to be independent and I want to win. And I know you do too. So let me show you what this is. Okay, so the first side here, let's talk about the dark side of the force for just a minute here. The first side of our chart right here is the cycle of fear. Okay, this is the fear cycle. This is what happens inside of our brain when we're feeling fear. Now, all fear is based on some kind of a half-truth or a lie. You see, we see things not as they really are, but we conjure up things. Some people have said fear is just an acronym for false evidence appearing real, right? Fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. And that's because every time we fear, it's because we don't have all the information or we sense that we're going to be out of control. And that sense of being out of control is almost always based on a lie. So at the very top of our cycle right here, let's put the word lie. Not like lie down and sleep, but like falsehoods, fake, silliness, stuff that's not real, half-truths. This always begins with this process of a lie. We hear a lie, we buy into it, and it starts the process of fear. Now, lies, because they are half-truths and they're not the way things really are in life, lies always transition and create confusion, right? Lies always create confusion. You're not quite sure because you can't see things the way that they really are. You have a lack of clarity. Now, every time there's confusion inside of a human being, it creates inactivity, always. Because think about this. So a great example. I was doing a seminar in Denver one time, and I was talking about some of these principles, and right in the middle of this idea of this story that I was telling that talks about how confusion breeds inactivity, right in the middle of that, the fire alarm goes off in the building. The fire alarm goes off in the building. Now, what do you think everybody did as soon as that fire alarm went off? Did we all jump up and rush to the door and try to escape the burning building? No, that's not what we did. That's not what any of us did. Did we just completely ignore it and just carry on with the seminar and everyone just kept taking notes, pretending like it didn't even happen? No, that's not what we did either. Every person in the room stopped and began analyzing and trying to assess and trying to figure out what was really going on and what was happening, smelling for smoke, looking around for social proof as everybody else running around, waiting for some authority or somebody to come by. Like, all of us started processing the information to decide what we were going to do. Why? Because a fire alarm in and of itself is a bit of a, we don't know if it's a real fire or a fake fire. There's a bit of a confusion point there. And so we freeze and we go into inactivity mode. We're processing, we're analyzing, we're figuring stuff out. And so confusion will always breed inactivity. This guy right here, okay? Inactivity, right? So that's this corner point right here. So confusion always breeds inactivity. This is very important for you to remember. Because anytime you find that you've stopped in life and you're not moving forward towards your goals, your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, you can always trace it back to some lie that created some confusion. I'm not good enough. I don't know if I can actually do this. Will this really pay off? Is this the right road for me to go down? I don't know if I should can I afford this? All these things. And, this breeds this confusion and this activity. And inactivity, of course, always creates stagnation, right? Stagnation creates a lack of results, right? So we heard a lie, I'm not good enough, or we had some kind of data, and we got confused, and so we started analyzing, we went into inactivity. In the middle of that inactivity, we had stagnation, so nothing happened. And of course, that created no results, this point right here, right? No results. So now, because we're not doing anything, we're just thinking about stuff, we're not really taking action, then we didn't get any results. The lack of results creates additional confusion. And that additional confusion always breeds more lies. And so what we see is that this cycle tends to rotate down like this direction. Okay? I hope this is making sense to you. I hope this is clear and not bred with confusion. Because, see, fear cycle always rotates around just like this. It causes us to stop. And when we don't have action, we don't have results, the results tend to validate whatever the lie was, like, oh, I'm not good enough. See, I really can't do it. Nothing's actually happening. Or you try just a little bit and then nothing really happens. And so you're caught up in this vicious cycle where it just spirals you down, 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 down. This is the way my brain thinks, and most people that I've talked to is like, oh, this is terrible. You don't want to get caught in this cycle. So what's the alternative? The alternative is this guy right here. And I want to explain this to you so that you have total clarity about what you can do to get out of this, okay? Now, this is what I call the faith pattern or cycle, okay? And this is really where your victory comes in. Because now faith, listen, I am a man of the cloth, as it were, in some ways, and because I have a significant position in my church currently, and hey, maybe one day I won't, but look, right now, today, I do minister and I do religious things and I believe in God and all these things that are so vital and important to me personally in my life. But I'm not talking about that kind of faith. I'm talking about faith as a principle of power. So as an example, if you've ever had a job, you acted on faith because every employer that I know has you start working and then 2 weeks later you get your first paycheck. That's almost common to everybody. So you worked for 2 weeks with the belief that you would get a check that you had neither seen nor had any major significant guarantee that it was actually going to show up. You acted 100% on faith. That idea that you have a belief in something that's not seen, but it's hoped for. Now again, we could put this in a religious context. I could preach all kinds of sermons to you, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just the principle of acting without seeing something. When I walk into a room and I flip the lights on, I'm acting in faith. I'm acting in faith that there's some electrician somewhere that wired the house right. I don't know him. I didn't see him. I didn't talk to him. I'm acting in faith that there's a power plant somewhere that somebody is managing either with coal or water or nuclear power or something like. Something's going on to generate. I don't know these people. I haven't seen them. I haven't been to the plant. I haven't traced down the wiring. None of that stuff. And yet I come in and I flip the switch and I expect the light bulbs. Oh, I don't even know about the light bulb people. Who made the lights? I don't know. But I just have total and complete trust, faith, that their light's going to turn on and it's going to continue to function as stated. You and I live and act constantly on this principle of faith. Well, what does this actually look like? Can we get clarity on this so that it works? Okay, so here's where it starts. It starts with truth. Truth. Things as they really are. Okay? Things as they really are. I know these LED lights that are burning in this studio right now, I know that they're going to work. Why? Because, well, it's science, it's physics, it's like it's supposed to work that way, and so it's going to work. So I know that if I give electricity to it, it's going to turn on. That's truth. That's why I can have faith in it. But see, we have to see things like, for example, when I was in my crisis, Margie helped me to see the truth of the matter, which was there were hundreds of thousands of potential clients out there for me. I just had to figure out how to communicate with them in a way that they would want to hire me. Well, I could do that because I can learn and grow. Another truth that I realized, truth, there are clients out there. Truth, I can learn and grow. Truth that I can eventually get good enough. Truth that I can figure this out. Like, I figured out all this truth. Truth creates clarity. Right? And clarity, my friend, always and forever in the human being will create action. It creates action, right? And action is a magical, wonderful thing. See, when we know the exact path that we need to go on, we get going. We move. And when we have faith that that path will lead us to a desired destination, then we dig into it. So we go to jobs and we get college degrees and we educate ourselves and we just do all this kind of stuff because we believe that there's a certainty, there's a clarity that if we take this path, it'll lead to a desired destination. So we act. Now, action is awesome because action leads to growth. Growth is the magic ingredient to all of our victories because we always get who we are, not what we want. You might want to write that one down. That's a good one. We always get who we are, not what we want. Because the reality of it is that when we personally, I know that there's a lot of writers out there that are better than me. Why are they better than me? Because they grew to the principles, the ideas, the philosophies, the strategies, the secrets, the techniques. They applied them. They grew into those. They used them more than I have done. And so they're better. That's just a simple fact. They grew in ways that I didn't. When I was in high school, I loved watching basketball games. I loved watching Michael Jordan and his air dunk stuff. Whoa, right? And Michael Jordan, the fact is he grew to be a better basketball player than I could ever imagine to be. So action creates growth, and then growth creates results. Growth, I got that wrong a little bit. That's all right. So growth creates results, and then results create additional clarity. And clarity helps us to see the truth, and then the cycle continues. So once again, what you see is, we see this migrating from truth creates action, action produces results, results help us to more clearly identify what the truth actually is in our life. And then that just repeats and cycles up on an ever-increasing spiral thing. So my challenge to you right now is, if you're feeling any kind of anxiety, any kind of fear, any kind of stress, any of that stuff, I just put all that into this bundle right here of the fear category. And my challenge to you is, look, is this founded on a lie or is it actually true? Is it true that you're really not good enough and can't get good enough? Is it true that you really are terrible at sales? Is it true that you really are, not that great with people? Is it true that your writing really isn't that great? Is it true that the economy is so bad nobody's hiring? Is it true that you fill in the blank? And I want you to ask yourself, is that true? And really be open to listening to the actual answer that comes, because the vast majority of things that are the foundation of our fears and our anxieties and our stressors are not actually true. They're not. People have, I talk to people and they're like, oh, the economy's collapsing. The world's coming apart. Everybody's sick. Everybody's having challenges. Everyone's stressed out, blah, 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 blah. And yet that's a true reality for some people, but there's this whole other group of people that are like, woohoo, this is the greatest season in the history of mankind. This opportunity for us to grow and to get tighter as families and to reconnect and to utilize technology and to free ourselves up from physical locations and to build online businesses and to connect with companies that are building online businesses and to write more, do all this. I mean, it's just a difference in the way you look at what's going on. And the reality is that this is an amazing opportunity for us right now. So let me finish this sentence. You probably already know the rest of this sentence now that we've been talking about this, but here it is. I want you to remember this sentence. It's a scripture. I love it. It's fabulous, and it's true. And that is this: the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. And so when you know what the reality is, how things really are, when I knew that there were 250,000 potential clients out there, and I knew that I could grow, then I was suddenly free from my stress and anxiety. I'm like, oh, now I just have to do the work. And I wasn't afraid of the work. I knew I could do work, so cool. And I got free to live the lifestyle of my dreams. And you can do the exact same thing today. Ask yourself, is that true? And you do the research and you find out if the fears and the anxiety and the stresses and the holdups and the blockades and the roadblocks and the things that you have just in your brain that say, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Just, is this really true? And you ask yourself, and you do research to find out. And you'll find that it's probably not true. It's not. There's a different reality out there for you right now, today. So let's look at three. I'm just going to call these the three key truths. Three key truths that'll be very, very important for you. So number one, every crisis brings equal, I already started writing this, opportunity. It is so true. Every crisis brings an equal or greater opportunity. That's a truth you should lock into your brain, because every crisis is usually a collapse of one kind of a system and creates a void, right? One way of life, one economic system, one health system, one business system, a crisis. What we call crisis is where we're going along and we're doing the expected, ordinary, socially approved, historically similar thing, and we're moving along that path, and suddenly there's a disruption and a system collapses. And when that system collapses, we call it crisis. But in that void, something else happens, right? Something else happens because the system collapsed, but human beings didn't disappear. We survive, so we fill that void. And in filling that void, we create opportunity. Now, some people have used these collapses for evil purposes. I'm not arguing that at all. But lots of people have used it for really, really, really good things. I used the crisis of getting a couple $100,000 in debt to build an entire new world for myself and for my family. And I know lots of other people that have done similar things. I've seen people who have taken economic crisis where the stock market has crumbled and collapsed and fallen. There was a major collapse in that system, and they've used it to create like huge, huge empires for themselves. So my point is this: every crisis brings opportunity, because a crisis is a collapse of a system. It creates a void, and you and I as human beings, we are solution-oriented creatures. We're going to find a way to survive and thrive. We're going to create new systems. And in that new system creation, there's opportunity. for you to right now. People right now are creating new online businesses, new education structures, new systems of communication, new all kinds of stuff. New systems are being developed right now every single day, even as we speak, and that crisis is turning into opportunity, and they need writers, they need communicators, they need persuaders. That's you and me. Boom! Opportunity is here knocking right now today. Okay, number 2, the truth that I really want you to emblazon in your brain is this. You can choose your thoughts. Every single morning, I want you to wake up and set intentions about what you want your day to look like, how you want to think. You get to choose. Nobody, no economy, no government, no friends, no family members, nobody, nowhere, no how can force you into thinking a specific thought. Nobody can force you to feeling a certain way. It might feel like it sometimes, but the truth is you get to choose your thoughts. You and I get it. We are independent creatures. We have this God-given ability to choose our thoughts. We get to decide how we get to see the world, period. End of discussion. No commentary. That's the truth. And if that's true, then you can wake up today and look around and decide, will you be joyful today? Will you be kind to people today? Will you serve people today? Will you find clients today? Will you build your writing skills? Will you build, what will you think about? Will you have optimism, despair? Will you focus on lies? Will you focus on truths? You get to decide. This is your choice. And I want you to choose to the best of your ability and have kindness on yourself and learn the lessons along the way that will come as you choose things that don't have the outcomes you wanted, so you get to choose again. But you get to choose your thoughts. This is a powerful, really, really important reality in our world today because we want to let news and friends and social environments sort of dictate how we think and feel about stuff. And that's just totally false. You get to choose your thoughts. Number 3, life is a reflection of thoughts. So if you look at my victory cycles right here, you'll see that all of this is based on the way you think about stuff. So if you choose to accept a lie and create confusion, it's a thought process that's going on inside your mind. It creates inactivity, creates stagnation, creates a lack of results. Your life today, right now, so you look at your house, the clothes you wear, the cars you drive, where you live in the world, all these different kinds of things, the circumstances. For the vast majority of human beings on the planet, well, actually for everybody, the reality of it is your external world is a reflection of your internal thinking. It's just the way it is. And so if you change, that's why if you take action, you read more, you study more, you contact people, you build your business, you choose to be kinder to people, you do whatever it is, it will create growth inside of you, and that growth will produce the results. We always get in life who we are, not what we want. And so you simply get to choose your thoughts. Those thoughts become a reflection of your world because in the thoughts, you get to grow and become and be somebody different. I am such a totally, completely different person today than I was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago. Why? Because I choose to constantly think new thoughts. And I want you to do exactly the same thing. So my friends, this is what I call the victory cycle. And I think that it's super, super important for you to have this model, to think about it, and to put it into place right now, today in your life, because we live in a world where the mainstream media and entertainment and entertainers and lots of different people are trying to push a huge agenda of fear on us. And we can choose out of that. We can deal with it differently, and we can choose to look at the reality a different way and choose to have faith and let those choices and those thoughts redefine our life. Opportunity is there for you right now today. And I just want to challenge you with my whole heart and soul to go out and to find it I think writing is one of the best vehicles to make that a reality, which I'm so excited that you're here with me and watching this and diving in. So let's just do this together. Let's see these systems collapse. And while we feel sorrow for the people that it's affecting negatively, we also can feel joy in the opportunities that are being created, not at their expense, but simply because systems collapse and have always collapsed through the history of the world, and it creates a void, and the void creates an opportunity. So let's take advantage of it. This is a great season for you and I right now, today. And that is the truth, and that gives me clarity, and I want to take action and grow, and I want you to come with me. Cool? All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye now. Hello, my friend. Joshua Boswell here. I hope you enjoyed that session, at least as much as I enjoyed shooting it for you. I wonder if you would do me 2 favors. Number 1, find the subscribe button on this page, hit that button, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my new training, updates, insights, and resources on helping you take your writing life and turn it into an amazing lifestyle. And because lifestyle is why we do what we do, right? So that brings me to point number 2. Would you please share this with somebody else? Look, you and I both know there are lots and lots of writers out there that are starving artists, that are frustrated and wondering where the clients are, and wondering if their writing skills are even good enough, and don't exactly know how to move forward. And you and I can be part of the solution as we share with them these insights and these strategies that I've learned over the last 10, 15 years of working with thousands of writers and marketing directors. So go ahead and share this with them. Now, if you're somebody who has been following me for a little while and wondering how you can get additional insights, specifically, you've seen a lot of the stuff that I've done, but you're wondering where is a step-by-step, consistent, beginning to end, soup to nuts process and model for starting over here, where you're at right now, and ending up with the lifestyle that you dream of, that you really want to have because of your writing business. Now, if you want something like that, then I want to introduce you to Copywriter Marketer Membership. That's exactly what this membership is all about. It's all about giving a succinct step-by-step roadmap, a curriculum, if you will, for how to take your writing skills and where you're at right now and turn it into an amazing lifestyle. And inside the membership, we focus on building out roadmaps and processes and systems in 4 specific categories. Number 1, writing skills. You don't have to wonder if your writing skills are good enough, or you don't have to wonder about what's a succinct, specific way to constantly be improving your writing skills. Inside the membership, and give you a step-by-step process for going through and helping you with that area of your writing business. Number 2, we look specifically at automated marketing systems. Look, nobody likes, and myself included, nobody likes to run around groveling and begging for projects and for clients and wondering when the next project, when the next check is going to show up. And so I give you a step-by-step process that I've used for years to create multiple 6-figure businesses and to create incredible lifestyle for my students. And I give you the step-by-step process for automating your marketing so clients are coming to you hat in hand, excited to work with you and to hire you. Number 3, we look at winning mindset. How do you create a personal development curriculum? How do you create a system for overcoming fears and anxiety and stress and self-sabotage and all those kinds of things that all of us do because we're human beings? How do you win and overcome and create a winning mindset? And I give you a step-by-step process, A to Z, on how exactly to do that. And finally, once you've got those put together, how is it that you create and bundle all that up into an amazing, fulfilling lifestyle? And they give you step-by-step processes and insights on doing all of those things. So I want to invite you to check out Copywriter Marketer Membership. See if it's not right for you with where you're at in your career development right now, and come and join the CM family, the Copywriter Marketer family. Join those of us who are anxiously engaged in improving our writing skills, building out automated marketing systems, having the winning mindset, a champion mindset, and building out a fulfilling, enjoyable, just amazing lifestyle. Go ahead and check it out right now. You can click on the link below and get all the details. Until then, live life to the fullest and pack your life with things that matter most to you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.